Coming up, New York City volunteers prepare for an upcoming blessing ceremony in remembrance of Hurricane Sandy. We meet the flying doctors to see how they safeguard the health of those living on the fringes of society. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. It is nearly a year since Hurricane Sandy swept through the east coast of the United States. Recently, New York City volunteers worked with the Council of People's Organization to prepare for the then upcoming blessing ceremony in remembrance of the tragedy. In order to make sure no recipient is left behind, City volunteers have been making phone calls and personally delivering invitations into the hands of the disaster survivors.
Wrapping the $50 cash cards with love, New York City volunteers are preparing for a blessing ceremony that will be held on the anniversary of the Hurricane Sandy disaster. Since most of the guests on the invitation list are Spanish speakers, those who speak the language were invited to the office to make the calls to invite the over 300 disaster survivors.
From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., I made over 100 calls, asking each guest how many people will come with them and then noting that number down.
Besides phone visitations, 69-year-old John Reyes spent a week traveling by subway for over 2 hours each day to visit care recipients. As Tzu Chi's community outreach associate, he wanted to personally hand over each invite.
Because there's a relationship with myself and most of these people, and I want to protect that relationship.
Hola, esto es John Reyes de Tzu Chi. ¿Cómo estamos?
And I don't want to lose one or two of them because they don't understand the instructions. So I've written them down and I personally go over it with them to ensure that they're comfortable with their trip to our event.
On Saturday, my son and I are first going to see how to get to the event because we don't know how to get there.
This blessing ceremony is very important for me, and I'm grateful that the COPO will be there to assist me in filling out the forms.
Volunteers look forward to seeing everyone in more auspicious circumstances as they gather together to remember and pray.
In South Africa, volunteers in Johannesburg regularly travel to a youth center in Tembisa on a weekly basis, where they provide free meals to children from poor families. Discovering that the children were also in need of school supplies, the volunteers distributed stationery and books as well as rice to ensure the students remain firmly on the path of learning.
Tzu Chi Haobo Semenya was formerly himself a recipient of Tzu Chi's aid, but now wears the Tzu Chi uniform as he shares with the audience the joys of giving back. Tzu Chi volunteers from Johannesburg travel every week to a youth center in Tembisa to offer free lunches. Their efforts in turn have inspired locals to join their ranks, with local Tzu Chis taking care of this most recent tea gathering. Although the students are all hardworking, volunteers later discover that they also come from families that are incredibly poor. To help, the volunteers decided to hold an aid distribution in which 10-kilogram bags of rice, stationery, and English books were donated on behalf of the children and school.
We want to thank Tzu Chi for all the help that they've brought into the learners' lives.
Through such classes, these children have a chance to receive an education, and with Tzu Chi's help, they all have a good chance at leaving poverty behind and becoming givers in the future.
In the landlocked country of Lesotho in southern Africa, Tzu Chi volunteers brought 100 second-hand computers donated by ASUS, a computer company in Taiwan, to 2 primary schools in hopes of broadening the students' knowledge and connecting them with the outside world.
Though unfamiliar with the computers, students of Mayasan Immediate School in Lesotho are typing away slowly on the keyboards.
There is a program that is called Encata. They use it to search for information.
Having received the 50 refurbished computers donated by the ASUS computer company in Taiwan, happiness and excitement are written all over the children's faces.
Thank you, ASUS. Thank you, Tzu Chi. Thank you, Taiwan.
City volunteers and local volunteers also bring another 50 computers stored away in a temporary warehouse to Lady Brand Primary School.
we would just like to say a word of appreciation to the Taiwan ISIS company. Thank you very much. This will help children a lot. Thank you very much to the Tzu Chi Foundation, Taiwan.
As teachers assemble these computers together, seeds of love are also deeply rooted in the hearts of these children.
We are so excited. We are going to have computers for our learning. Thank you, Tzu Chi. Thank you, Taiwan.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Penghu have been busy this month handing out new shoe scholarships. On October 27, at a ceremony attended by both recipients and their parents, 45 children received financial help for this school year.
市政奖学金及纪念品。
Receiving their scholarships, brother and sister pair Chen Hongting and Chen Hongxiang cannot help but smile.
With
the scholarship, we can help our family and help our mother with her condition. After we grow up, we can make money to support our mother and take some of the burden off her.
With both of their parents currently ill, the two children long ago learned to be responsible for their meals and keeping their home clean.
After school, we'll go home to help out. That way, our mother can rest. When it comes time to make dinner, I will also help her.
Whenever their mother gets up, the color drains from her face and that scares the children. They are afraid that she or their dad might pass away, so they have learned to take care of things that their parents would otherwise have to do.
I am very thankful to my mom and the volunteers. After I grow up, I will donate to Tzu Chi and will take care of my mom.
Although the scholarship recipients come from households in financial straits, the children have learned to face their challenges with a positive mindset.
Tzu Chi has given me so much motivation and encouragement. Receiving this scholarship today, I want to thank the master and all the Tzu Chi aunts and uncles for their support. I will work hard and I want to thank everyone that has extended a hand to help us.
Although life can be hard, these children are examples of how a heart of gratitude and purity can overcome even the tallest barriers. And it is exactly this heart that these new shoot scholarships are nurturing.
Across the United States, many NGOs organize regular free medical clinics for the impoverished, and it is expected that even following the rollout of the National Health Insurance, which will take effect on January 1st, 2014, these free clinics will continue to serve a vital purpose. In our next report, we meet a group called the Flying Doctors and see how they reach out to those living on the fringes of society.
I'm Larry Tabor. Part of a group called the Flying Doctors. Being a flying doctor, it's a way for me to give back to the community.
This is Northern California's San Jose. Dr. Larry Tabor, who has been part of the Flying Doctors of America for 17 years now, is busy preparing for today's mission. The Flying Doctors was established more than 2 decades ago. Each member has their own light aircraft and spends their weekends participating in free clinics, with all expenses paid out of their own pocket.
Are you ready now?
I'm ready. We're as ready as I can be. Okay. Today our destination is going to be the Fresno International Airport near Yosemite, California. We'll be flying at 5,500 feet, a little bit low. But it'll give everybody a nice view of Yosemite, the Central Valley of California.
In the past, free clinics were organized predominantly in Mexico and other Latin American countries. However, much has changed over the years.
Over the years, with the downturn in the economy, the U.S. economy, and people losing their jobs, healthcare has become almost impossible for a good percentage of the U.S. population. So we're getting calls more and more to help back home.
250 kilometers out, flying over California's Central Valley, a Native American tribal village comes into sight. This is the destination of today's free clinic. Today's clinic is a joint collaboration between Tzu Chi and the Rotary Club, who invited the flying doctors to extend their medical services to local residents.
He got hurt and he went off on disability 20 years ago. This year be 20 years. And so we lost our health insurance. And so for 20 years, I haven't had any health insurance.
Donna says in the 37 years that she has lived here, no charity organization has ever held a free clinic here before.
I enjoyed talking to him, and I was so thankful he kind of pulled me aside, and because he's very trusting. So I'm thankful that this group has come up here today to help with the mountain people up here. So.
Under the expertise of Dr. Tabor, Donna had 3 of her teeth successfully removed. No longer in pain, Donna breaks into tears of joy.
With both the Flying Doctors group and Tzu Chi, I find that similarity. It is absolutely patient first. It's the best group, 2 groups that I can have, and when I see them working together, it really makes me happy.
Faced with the imminent rollout of the new Healthcare Act, Dr. Tabor expresses his concerns.
We have a lot of argument in the country about who's going to pay, but nobody's talking about who's going to do. And we don't have enough doctors to help. I think the problem's going to get worse.
Going into the future, what is clear is that these free clinics will continue to serve an important purpose, and only with more willing doctors and the efforts of local organizations can medical assistance be extended to those neglected by society.
Also in the United States, New Jersey Tzu Chi volunteers recently held a free clinic for fellow compatriots where they reminded the volunteers of the importance of keeping up one's own health so they may continue to safeguard the health of others.
This free clinic at the New Jersey Jingsa Hall is being held especially for U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers to remind them not to neglect their own health while taking care of others.
I think this is great. It gives everyone an opportunity to check on our current health condition.
Previously, when I had blood drawing, I fainted, so I was especially afraid. This time, a Tzu Chi auntie was with me. She held my hand and told me not to be afraid and chanted Namo Amitofa. The nurse was also very kind, so I felt safe.
At the blood drawing station, in 1.5 hours' time, 3 nurses serviced over 54 volunteers. Along with his wife, Erin Romaine, who normally volunteers at the food bank, also came to lend a hand.
My mom asked me if, because I'm a registered nurse, if I would be willing to come help out all the other people that are going to be, that help Tzu Chi on a regular basis. And my wife and I were very excited to take the opportunity to, help the people, help the helpers in any way that we can.
The free clinic came to a successful end, and for participating physicians, the fulfillment gained from helping out fellow volunteers outweighed the exhaustion of the day.
Since 1885, Taiwan has worked to establish a comprehensive meteorological observation system for commercial and navigational use. Right now, there are a total of 26 weather stations and up to 100 amended and rainfall stations across Taiwan. With long-term dedication to weather observation, the collection of meteorological data in Taiwan has become an irreplaceable part of the global weather surveillance system.
As climate change continues, what's the role Taiwan plays in the global weather observation network? Hong Zhiwen, who is known for his meteorological savvy, explains Taiwan's role in the global weather network.
Global warming is the result of the rise of the global average temperature. However, the degree of global warming may vary from region to region. Taiwan is situated at the border between the Pacific Ocean and the Eurasia continent. Thus, it can provide a look into the temperatures of East Asia's southern subtropics.
Because of its unique location, Taiwan is affected by both northeastern winter monsoons and southwestern summer monsoons. In addition, Taiwan is an island filled with mountains, of which Yushan is the highest in Northeast Asia. With these climatic and geographical features, Taiwan has become an important location for providing valuable weather data.
The data from urban weather stations shows an extreme rise of temperatures. However, this may be related to urban heat. If we didn't rule out such effects, we might not be able to see the general picture of Taiwan's gradual warming.
Taiwan's high elevation gives it an advantage in weather observation. The Central Weather Bureau has set up 26 weather stations in all sorts of terrain, with a difference of altitude from the highest to lowest over 38,000 meters. In addition, up to 100 unmanned weather stations and rainfall stations used for commerce, navigation, and aviation purposes have now become irreplaceable sources of weather information for meteorological research.
The data from the rural weather stations is valuable because with it, we can get a better understanding of atmospheric data without the interference from man-made pollutants.
Whether it is temperature, air pressure, wind direction, wind speed, daylight time, radiation exposure, precipitation, or rainfall intensity, Taiwan's weather observation system is now able to provide precise observational statistics, which not only protects citizens from extreme weather conditions, but also serves as an important part in the global weather surveillance network.
Yang Xiaodong from Xiamen, China was diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis when he was 12 years of age, and for the next 19 years, the young man decided to shut himself off from the rest of the world. To convince Yang to receive treatment, the government of Xiamen asked Tzu Chi volunteers to care for the boy and provide further assistance. Finally, in May of this year, Yang Xiaodong and his mom arrived in Hualien, Taiwan. In our next report, let's see how medical staff are helping Yang get back on his feet once again.
I shall cherish my blessings. Thank you, Tzu Chi. I want to go back to Xiamen on my 2 feet.
With a bent back and his knee in front of his chest, this is how Yang Xiaodong has lived for the past 19 years.
Since he was 12, he has suffered from arthritis. We visited a few doctors, but they were not much of a help. He didn't finish his second year in junior high school. Because someone said he was limping, he shut himself away and wouldn't see anyone.
Suffering from ankylosing spondylitis, Yang has long shut himself off from the world. It was not until the arrival of Tzu Chi volunteers that Yang was convinced to go to Taiwan to receive treatment.
We carried out our first surgery to treat ankylosing spondylitis symptoms some 22 years ago. We have accumulated some 220 cases since then, which is probably the highest number around the globe. With the experience we have, we should be able to help Yang Xiaodong.
Having to travel from Xiamen, China to Taiwan's Hualien, it was the company of Tzu Chi volunteers that gave Yang the hope and courage to face the trip. What followed after his arrival was a series of medical checkups, a few of which medical staff found difficult.
It was really difficult to get an X-ray of him because he cannot lie on the examination bed like other patients. We finally came up with a few ways to get images of his whole body, including his hip, lower body, and back.
As Yang was both excited and nervous, Tzu Chi volunteers organized a trip to the Jinsi boat before his first surgery, in hopes of helping soothe his anxious heart.
When receiving surgery, a patient is always scared of the unexpected. Yang Xiaodong was wearing his sunglasses, so I told him since he is going on a trip to the Jingsi abode, he would be blocking his vision if he continues to wear them. In addition, it is not polite to be wearing sunglasses when he meets Master Zhen Yan. I hope that he would embrace the world around him as it is.
Despite having his hip bent at 90 degrees and his back at some 130 degrees, the blessings from the master and volunteers gave Yang the faith of a successful surgery.
We set ourselves a goal of adjusting his hip bone by some 60 degrees and at least a minimum of 100 degrees in his back.
Though still hiding his face when doctors arrived to give him a checkup, Yang, however, is finding more confidence in his future as the days go by.
After undergoing 5 surgeries and intensive rehabilitation, Yang Xiaodong is now able to walk upright again. Recently, Yang Xiaodong visited the Jingsi abode in Hualien to express his thanks to Master Zhen Yan, medical staff, and global Tzu Chi volunteers for their unconditional love and care.
Accompanied by Tzu Chi's medical mission CEO and medical staff, Xiamen care recipient Yang Xiaodong slowly walks into the Jingsi abode here in Hualien, Taiwan. After 5 months of treatment and intensive rehabilitation, Yang Xiaodong is finally able to walk upright in front of Master Zhen Yan. Currently, Yang Xiaodong is not only able to walk forward but also backward. This simple action is the result of the hard work from countless medical staff.
所以爱定定会记哩，真侪人用爱伫你的身躯，你转去吼，唔通辜负人对你的爱，你会当安尼徛起来，佫会当安尼开朗，这就是吼，阮上欢喜的。
The medical staff not only cure Yang Xiaodong's body but also his mind. With volunteers by his side, Yang has slowly walked out of his comfort zone.
Thank you to all you Tzu Chi volunteers. All the medical volunteers have been very nice to Xiaodong. They always encourage him and offer him things to eat. Thank you, everyone.
我的心愿是希望能够来台湾上慈济大学。好。
有影哦，好，等你哦。
To continue the cycle of love, a representative from the China Charity Federation of Xiamen City arrived in Hualien to accompany Xiaodong and his mother back home.
Thank you, Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, as well as Dr. Chen Yinghe and his team. I was very emotional when I saw Xiaodong because I didn't realize that he had already recovered so much. To me, this is a medical miracle.
With the help of countless medical staff, Xiaodong can finally put his dark past behind him. A volunteer also gave Yang a haircut to help him embrace his new life with a fresh new look.
We stay in Taiwan at the end of the show as Xiamen care recipient Yang Xiaodong is ready to go home. Medical staff and Tzu Chi volunteers held a farewell party where everyone offers their blessings to Xiaodong and his mother. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.